I want to have our last segment for today's show be about what Mitch McConnell has said about stimulus. In the Asinine Accusations show, I talked about um, what, know, what Republicans, specifically Mitch McConnell and Trump, have accused Nancy Pelosi of, and I kind of debunked that. But I want to, as we go into election day tomorrow, the last thing that I really want to talk about again is Mitch McConnell and what we can expect regarding stimulus, because as much as I would like for Democrats to assume the majority in the Senate, it is looking like Republicans, more likely than not, are going to retain control of the Senate. And that's important because the leader over there is Mitch McConnell. So we kind of need to know and be aware of where his head is at. So Mitch McConnell said, there's this direct quote. He said, "We probably need to do another package, certainly more modest than the $3 trillion Nancy Pelosi package. I think that'll be something we'll need to do right at the beginning of the year." Few things that I really want to point out. Notice, now, this isn't in reference to anything happening right now. This is in reference to early 2021. So I want to make that very, very clear. But I want you to pay attention to language that people use, right? Because look at, we probably, so this is not like we guaranteed need to, and I want to put this into context because what we've been hearing is how if Democrats control all three, they want to go into this really jumping right in, and that stimulus is going to be essentially their first priority, their top priority. And it is bad optics to know that one party wants to go into it helping you, and then another party, kind of really doesn't, right? So he is essentially responding indirectly to what Democrats are saying. But again, he's not saying, oh, I'm doing this with the same level of urgency. I'm guaranteeing that this is going to be what we're going to do. He said, we probably need to do another package. Certainly, here's the keywords, 2 keywords, more modest than the $3 trillion. I can tell you why he used that phrase, more modest than the $3 trillion, okay? Right now, the talk of the town is with the Democrats that what they have proposed in the past is going to be inadequate. And they're actually going to have to propose a bigger stimulus package because of the fact that, like I mentioned earlier, unemployment has gotten worse. Job loss has gotten worse. So we're going to need more money because more damage has been done since the original proposal, since the original passage of the bill in the House. And so that said, if you look at really what Mitch McConnell does, what he's done in this quote, he wants, if you just kind of hear it very quickly, more modest. He's using language to manipulate your feelings and your thoughts. Most people are going to hear more and they think, oh, he's going to want to do more. But notice he said more modest, right? So that's actually not an increase in something, that's actually a decrease in something. And that's important because he's counting on the fact that you just hear more and then you kind of ignore the word that comes right after it, which is modest. But I want you to pay attention what the actual theme is with Republicans. And the theme, when you hear words like more modest, more conservative, more targeted, more makes you think bigger and better. Like, oh, they actually want to help. They actually want to do more. But actually what they're doing is they want to be more restrictive, right? If they actually phrased it in a way that would actually give you negative emotion, the reason that he phrases it like that, because more modest has less of a negative connotation than less helpful or less than, or right. It's all about the language that they use. And that's important because I've said time and time again that the politicians, everything is about perception, right? One way that they influence perception is by what you see, but the most often used way with politicians that they influence your perception of things is by what you hear, even when what you see is something completely different, right? Look, We even hear or we have heard from Mitch McConnell that, let's say that there's a hypothetical situation where the Republicans retain the presidency and they retain control of the Senate, and nothing changes about the current makeup. Again, Dems in the House, Republicans holding the Senate, and Donald Trump remaining president. He even is at odds with what the president has said. The president said he's going to give us the biggest, baddest, bestest stimulus package ever. But Mitch McConnell says, look, and this is the direct quote, judges will come first. Judges will come first, not stimulus, not aid for cities and states, not educational aid, not testing aid. No, judges. Judges come first. While our country is burning down, we need judges. I guess we need judges to resolve the issues from all the burnt assets across the country, right? So, look, it's impossible to predict the future. I will give you that. So, anybody who is telling you, even when you look at pollsters, that, oh, this is exactly what's going to happen, nobody knows. Now, obviously, can data be useful? Absolutely. Absolutely. But point blank, period, nobody can call things exactly, right? Nobody can guarantee. I mean, unless there's an air prophet or a psychic or something of the sort, they cannot, right? They can't predict the future. But what we can do is we can learn a lot from the past. And again, I mentioned when I talked about how Mitch McConnell says that judges are going to come first. President Trump said that we need to reelect him. And if we reelect him, he's going to give us the biggest, bestest, greatest stimulus package we've ever seen. But he lied about that because he's going to need the Senate to do it. And the Senate leader has not just in the past demonstrated an unwillingness to prioritize economic stimulus for our country, but he has blatantly stated that that's not going to be a priority for him going forward. So even if Trump is reelected, we essentially need three things to fall in line for it to happen. We need the House to sign on, which the Democrats will. We need the president to sign on, which he will if he proposes it. Then we also need the Senate. And the Senate is led by Mitch McConnell. Not only has he personally said that that's not going to be a priority for him, but we already know that his gang of thugs who were unwilling to help our burning country, those thugs are willing to just sit by. Those people are not going to do anything to help the American people. And without those people, Trump and the Democrats can't do anything on their own. So I want to make this clear. I've said before that you should not listen to what people say, but watch what they do. All right. And if we really take hold of that we should judge people by what they do and not by what they say. When we look at and we consider this narrative that we're being sold, which is that we need to reelect Trump because he is going to give us the best stimulus package, the biggest stimulus package. He's going to make our economy the best it's ever been. He's going to be better for the economy than Joe Biden. Let's look at what he has done in response to the pandemic. He's ignored science. He has undermined the authority of scientists and medical professionals. He has created chaos. He has, I was reading an article where essentially with his rallies, he's been doing his campaign is responsible for the creation or the spread of 30,000 new cases when you look at the rise in COVID cases after his campaign actually leaves locations. And that's been tied to about 1,000 deaths. I've been calling him the COVID in chief at this point. But let's judge him on how he has been. If you were genuinely, and don't even believe me, literally don't believe me, take it upon yourself to do research. If you are like, you know what, I'm genuinely torn on, I like Donald Trump, you know what, I believe that we should not be awarding or rewarding people who break the law to enter into or stay in this country. We should not be killing babies in the womb who haven't had the who haven't had the chance to experience life. We should not be making crack cocaine legal. We should not be letting grown men in dresses in bathrooms with little girls. Even if you believe all of that stuff on the issue of the pandemic, I want you to consider what the president has done and the impact of what those either actions or inactions, what that impact has had, not just on the country as a whole, but on you personally. Like I said, when I look at it on a personal level, I now know 19 people who have contracted COVID-19, one of which has died. That has been the personal impact that the failure of this president has had on me. And I am taking that with me as I go into tomorrow, because that one person did not deserve to die. Those now 19 people did not deserve to have a COVID in chief who denied science. They deserved better than that. And I think you do too. Be safe, because it's scary out there. But as scary as that I know it is, especially if you have not voted, I want you to keep in mind not just the president and his record, but keep in mind what Mitch McConnell said his plan is, especially as you look at those down ticket races, specifically those in the Senate. Because you're either going to set the country up for failure or success, and it's up to you.